to Keith Bracey's In the Clubhouse. Keith Bracey's wry look at the local, national and international rugby scene. From the sublime in local rugby, the incomers at Wasps at the Ricoh Arena, to the almost ridiculous, which it pains me to say is my old club. Not that I played for mine, Chris, but they are my old club because they're founded in 1873, Moseley. Poor old Mose. Not good old Mose, not come on Mose. It's poor old Mose now, I'm afraid. Because how the mighty have fallen, Chris, basically. In 1972, I know I'm banging on about the past again, as I do, as a history buff. Boffin Bracey, the history man, as I am known. In 1972, my former rugby master at George Dixon Grammar School for Boys, Malcolm Swain, as in swineherd, or Swain as in boat swain, goat swain. Anyway, I'm just whittering there. Malcolm Swain used to run around our rugby field at George Dixon in City Road in Edgbaston, and would either then run from Edgbaston and City Road in, as I say, where the school was, at the school where he taught, as I say, George Dixon Grammar School for Boys, which was a great school then when I was there in 69, 76, to the Readings. Can you believe that, Chris?
No.
You can't believe it.
No.
You can't believe it. He used to run to keep fit. This is what they did, these teachers then.
Yeah.
He'd train, he'd do a day teaching the kids, us bloody idiots, rugby playing idiots as we were then, hadn't got a clue about the game, and we knew nothing of rugby. We were all brought up on football. I was a Villa fan. Sorry about that, but I had to mention it, but I'll go on a bit more about that a bit later anyway. But the Villa, sadly, won't mention them tonight, but because this is rugby and we're looking forward, not back, as the Villa do, as historians FC. But going back to the old rugby, I hadn't got a clue about rugby, but I was keen to learn. And Malcolm Swain was my mentor, Chris. Mentor, that's a good word, isn't it? Mentor.
Yes.
You like that word? Yeah, mentor.
Can I just ask you, did you have a nice holiday?
I had a lovely holiday, Chris. I went to Spain, near Alicante. Alicante, mate.
Very nice.
My auntie's place in Alicante.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice. Me and the Mrs. Mary. Lovely Mary. Big shout out to Mary. Hi, dear. How are you?
Forgive us, Mary.
Mary.
Mary, forgive us.
Mary Fidimus. Who's Mary Fidimus?
Forgive us.
Oh, Mary.
Forgive us, Mary.
Is that Mr. Brown, Mrs. Brown, is it?
I don't know what it is.
Anyway, we're having a bit of a flight of fancy here, I think. Mary, me Mrs. Mary. Yeah, well, anyway, Mary, my wife, and I had a lovely time in Alicante. And we went to Elche. Elche, have you heard of Elche?
No.
Lovely place.
Oh,
lovely place, Elche. It's the second city of Catalonia.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, Catalonia.
Catalonia, not Catalonia.
Homage to Catalonia, Chris, is a book by Ernest Hemingway. Have you heard of Ernest Hemingway, the author?
Played for Scunthorpe, didn't
he? Might have done.
No, okay.
But he didn't play baseball for the New York Mets as well.
Right.
Ernest Hemingway? Was that Babe Ruth? Might have been Babe Ruth thinking about it.
Ernest Hemingway, didn't he?
The Old Man and the Sea?
Didn't he go off to Florida Keys?
He did. He was. That's good knowledge, Chris.
You know my history.
You know your literature.
You might think I'm a bit thick.
No. I won't have it said.
Yeah.
You're not thick.
I think he died there as well.
He did. The Old Man and the Sea, great film with Spencer Tracy. You remember that?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, we digress
once again.
We digress again. Our flights of fancy are well known in the clubhouse. In the clubhouse, we get onto any old subject you like: literature, art, music, rugby occasionally. So here we go again. Back to Ernest Hemingway and homage to Catalonia. Elche was where me and the Mrs. Mary ended up supping an Estrella beer, not a San Miguel or a what's the other one they have there? Dos cervezas, por favor. Bit of Spanish for you there, yeah. No, me and Mary had some tapas in Elche, wandered around the city, fantastic city, went to the cultural quarter, took some photos, which you can see on my my Facebook page.
Yes.
Keith Bracey, KITHBRACEY. Have a look at them and you'll see some lovely photos of me and an old engine, which Mary stood next to. Locomotive in Elche, lovely city, as I say, the second city of Catalonia. But I digress. Yeah, we had a great time in Mary and me in Moseley. Bloody Moseley. I got Moseley on the brain. In Alicante. Alicante. Yeah, great. Bloody Alicante. I loved it. Near Benidorm, wasn't it? Anyway, we went to Alicante and we had a lovely time. But going back to the rugby. Anyway, I digressed a lot there, Chris. I'm sorry. But rugby again. You know, Malcolm Swain, my old rugby master. Lovely guy, still knocking around. Lives in Solihull, actually.
Oh yeah.
He taught at Solihull School,
right.
which was a top. He's a top rugby school.
Yep.
Who used to play against my son's old school, Old Swinford Hospital, which it's not a hospital, it's a school, but it's a boarding school in Stourbridge. Mm-hmm. And it was when my son was there. Not that he played much rugby. He was a footballer and cricketer and athlete. Rugby wasn't really his thing. My son Adam. Hello Adam, how are you, mate? Doing the sports psychology at Liverpool John Moores University. So hello to Adam, my son.
Hello Adam.
Yeah, thank you Adam. My son went to Old Swinford Hospital and fantastic young player, rugby player there, playing for the Warriors, those wussy Warriors, Max Stelling, who also learned his craft at Moseley. Go back to my club, Moseley. Max Stelling, who's been at Moseley since he was 6.
Right.
A 6-year-old mini rugby player, because he played with my lad, Adam.
Yeah.
My lad's now 23. I think Max must be 22, I think, if I'm right. 21, possibly. I think Max was 2 years younger than Adam. So, born in 95, if I remember right, Max Stelling was. But Max, as I say, learned his trade with Moseley. They brought him up. Fantastic player, great rugby player, captain of Old Swinford Hospital Rugby 15, who got to the Twickenham final at HQ, as I say, at Twickers about 3 or 4 years ago, where sadly Old Swinford Hospital lost to Dulwich College, again a big public school, South London public school, top rugby school. But my Max Stelling, as I say, go back to Max, dear young Max, I should say. He was nurtured by Moseley, and they brought him up, played him in mini rugby, played in age group rugby. Played, I think he played under 16 rugby, might have played under 18 rugby. But then, of course, who come calling but those Warriors? Those wussy boys.
The wussy boys.
The wussy boys came calling for him, and he'd got to go, really.
Of course.
Because Moseley are not, sadly, as I say, Moseley are about to be, looks as though the last rights are being read as we speak. They lost on... it's a shame.
Is
it's
it
a
third
big shame.
tier?
Third tier they're going to, yeah.
Okay.
They're going down from the Green King IPA Championship, as it is known. Yeah. That's not a bit of a mouthful. I don't know what is. The Green King IPA Championship, they're going down from the second tier of English rugby to the third tier, which is National League 1. So dear old Moses, my old master Malcolm Swain must be having paroxysms because... You know, he's a legend, Moseley, Malcolm is. He played in... He's the only Moseley player to play in 2, mark my words, 2 Twickenham Cup finals for Moseley, Malcolm Swain.
Did they ever get to 2 finals?
They got to the final in 72.
Right,
I thought
it might be a long time ago.
Well, exactly. It was a lot. I mean, Moseley were a brilliant side 40 years ago, Chris, 40, 45, 50 years ago. No, late 60s, early 70s. Sam Doble, I've mentioned Sam Doble before on this show. Sam actually invented the round the corner style of kicking.
Right.
Because he was a footballer, basically. Sam Doble was a Birmingham school teacher, like my old mentor Malcolm Swain.
I'm guessing that means to go when it goes...
Absolutely, round the corner style. It was perfected by a later Leicester Tiger player called Dusty Hare, who made it into a fine art.
Oh, I remember Dusty Hare.
You remember Dusty Hare?
Yeah,
he got no hair, actually. He was Dusty No Hair, he should have been known as, because he was bald as a coot. But and that didn't detract from his superb skill as a rugby player. Dusty played for England many, many times and perfected, really. I mean, he was the first guy to get those stats up there, the 80% kicking stats for success, And Dusty perfected the round-the-corner style kicking, but... As I say, there was a Moseley player in the 1960s, late 60s, early 70s, going through into about 77, because sadly, as I say, Sam Doble passed away with cancer back in 76, 77, because Moseley had a game against the then British Lions at the Readings which I was at as a first year at Birmingham University, would you believe, in 77. And poor old Sam Doble, as a Birmingham school teacher, as were many of the great rugby players that Moseley produced over many years. Who else was there? Was the British Lion? What was his name? I can't think of his name now. Well, there was Sam Doble, Malcolm Swain, John Finlan, Martin Cooper. I don't think Martin Cooper was a teacher, actually. What was his name? John Finlan, Martin Cooper. I can't think of his name now. He was a schoolmaster at Central Grammar School. Not Morris. What was his name? McFadden. Colin McFadden.
Right.
Colin McFadden was a British Lion. Still knocks around Moseley Rugby Club. Well into his 70s now, but still very fit and able.
Yeah.
But he was a British Lion, one of the few British Lions to come from this area, along with Nigel Horton, who was a fantastic second row for Moseley and the British Lions on the 77 New Zealand tour, where Nigel was a bit of an enforcer, if you like, Chris. Ex-Birmingham City policeman, water polo player, and if you've never played water polo, you'll know what a dirty game it is. Those horses get so wet playing polo underwater. It's so bloody. It's tragedy how those horses drown in that water. Sorry, I'll digress. That was a bit of a joke. You can hear the tumbleweed.
Yeah.
There's tumbleweed. Yeah,
yeah, there was a bit.
No, seriously though, Nigel Horton was a dirty player. And he won't mind me saying that, dear old Nigel.
I probably will.
He'd probably hit me, actually, if he saw me. Because he was an ex-Birmingham City copper, as I say, big bloke, about 6'8" and about 19 stone. So he didn't brook any nonsense, He'd be there chucking out time at the spotted dog in Digbeth, sorting them out, throwing out the rough with the smooth.
The spotted dog, yeah.
You remember the spotted dog? That's a rugby pub, that is.
That was my dad's old haunt, that was, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, Irish
Sure,
pub.
Irish pub,
yeah.
Dixonians, my club, actually used to play games against the spotted dog. Because the Spotted Dog used to run a rugby team. I don't know whether they still do. Fantastic Irish pub in Digbeth, though, isn't it?
Oh, good. There's a few down. Oh, yeah.
Some fantastic. The Dubliner.
Yeah, the Emily Arms.
Emily Arms. The Rainbow, was that an Irish pub?
Yeah, that was an Irish pub.
It's now a drugs den, isn't it? Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that.
I think it's they do venues.
It's raves. It's raves, isn't it? And Peaky Blinders pubs, and all that around there. I know you're not keen on the Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, there's some good old pubs.
Good old Irish pubs down Digbeth, because that was where the Irish community in Birmingham settled, wasn't it? Around the Gun Course, around Digbeth and Highgate, and South Side, as it's known now. The bit around St Chad's and Aston, and I can see you getting wistful, Chris.
I know, yeah, that's right.
Tears in your eyes.
Bringing back memories.
Bringing back memories. Your old man he was a boxer, wasn't he?
He was a boxer, yeah, he was a boxer.
Yeah, but
amateur boxer.
Amateur boxer,
yeah, 60s.
Is he still with us, or?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
So you don't know?
No, I don't know.
Has he gone?
I don't know. I really don't know.
You don't know? Seriously?
I haven't got a clue.
Sorry, I don't mean to pry, but this is interesting.
No, I really don't know where he is now. No, I don't.
So he could be.
It could be.
He could walk in this door now.
He could. Oh, who's out the door?
Mr. Brown.
Yes, good.
Mrs. Brown's husband.
Yeah. She'd have a shock, wouldn't she?
She would.
Yeah.
What was his name? What's his name? Noel. Your dad's name was Noel?
Yeah, Noel Patrick.
Noel Patrick Brown?
Yeah. There you go.
Sorry, I don't mean to pry. But
No.
oh, my old man was called Leslie Charles Bracey.
Right.
Would you believe? But he was a Brummie. He wasn't Irish at all.
Yeah.
Although my mum's family got Irish connections. But I digress. Back to the rugby.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're getting a bit distracted now because we're getting a bit. It's blooming 7:05 already. Cause we haven't talked about rugby yet. We've got on to Moseley, and then suddenly Moseley. It must be the Prince of Wales' spirit, in definite spirits.
Something to do with spirits, yes.
Well, Moseley and rugby, beer, spirits, alcohol, goes with the territory, don't it? Yeah, so, Britain's biggest and best rugby clubs was one of them, I'd say 30, 40 years ago, was Moseley RFC, who, as I say, Malcolm Swain played for in the John Player Cup final in 72, and yet again, 9 years later, Swaney, as his pupils, which I count myself lucky to be one, knew him, became a Moseley rugby legend when he became the first Moseley man to play in two John Player Cup finals at Twickenham. HQ, as it is known by the posh, or the more parochial plebs like me, rather than the posh Twickers or Twickenham. That's the trouble with rugby, in my opinion. Still too rooted in the public schools, Chris. Founded at Rugby School, 1832, from memory, I think.
And is it true that it started because somebody just picked them all up and ran?
Somebody picked his balls up and ran, yeah.
Is that how it really started?
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't
no, it's not apocryphal. That's a good word, isn't it? Apocryphal.
I ain't got a clue what that is.
Legendary.
I wouldn't like to eat
apocryphal. It's not apocryphal at all. Actually, William Webb Ellis, Old Bill, as he's known, or the trophy, the Rugby World Cup trophy is known as Old Bill. William Webb Ellis, who was the man who invented the game of rugby, allegedly, although, the Americans might...
Yeah, I'm a French, I suppose.
Well, I don't know. We know that for a fact, though, Chris, digressing again, that lawn tennis was invented in Birmingham.
That's right, yes, we do.
We do know that, because we bang on about it incessantly on this show.
Me, yeah.
I've told you, and I am right in my telling you of that fact.
I believe you, Keith. I believe
Thank you, Chris. Well, going back to the rugby anyway. For me, as a grammar school boy and a meritocrat, it's a good word, isn't it? Meritocrat.
Meritocrat?
Like that. Not a democrat.
No.
Or a plutocrat. A meritocrat.
The hell's a meritocrat?
I'm going to look it up on your phone, eh? It's not on your phone. It's a word I've just invented, mate. Meritocrat. A person who rises to the top by dint of his own efforts and brains and intelligence, rather than person who has been put there by dint of birth, right, or by money, or by the fact that they were born into a good family. A meritocrat is a person who has risen to the top because of himself, not in spite of himself.
Sounds good.
So there you go, meritocrat. That's a good word for everyone. Anyway, meritocrat. Yes, as I say, rugby for me is still too rooted in the public schools. I went to a state school. It was then known in my day, a grammar school. The reason Moseley, come on Mose, was so good back in the 60s and 70s was rugby was played by ordinary folk like myself. When as I say, Britain was a meritocracy rather than a place where money ruled, and how much your bank balance rather than your brain power matters. As I say, that's how it's gone, I'm afraid, in Britain. It's about money now. If you haven't got a big bank balance, you can't get into a rugby academy. You can't get into public schools. And that was why Mosey was so good, because all these young men, PE teachers in Birmingham, gave their lives to Mosey Rugby Club, but also inculcated into their charges at the grammar schools around the city their love of rugby. Malcolm Swain, Sam Doble, Colin McFadden, John Finlan, Martin Cooper. These were all PE teachers brought up by Birmingham University, by West Midlands College, by St Peter's College in Saltleach, you may remember, Chris. I don't know whether you do. Yeah. That was a fantastic PE college. Newman College as well, another great PE college. All these guys, like a guy called Keith Fifi Fielding, who went to Cambridge Five Ways, another grammar school, who was a contemporary of my late brother-in-law in Sherwood at Cambridge Five Ways, Keith Fifi Fielding, went north up to Rugby League, became a superstar on the old bikes, with Kevin Keegan and Brian Jacks and all that lot.
I remember this.
Ian Fifi Fielding,
great
Rugby League player. Yeah. You might remember him, barrel-chested bloke, sprinter, great, fantastic sportsman. And he was born and brought up in Birmingham.
Right.
And he went to Cambridge Grammar School at Five Ways, Bartley Green, over by Newman College. And Keith Fifi Fielding, I keep calling him Fifi, I wouldn't call him that if he was
No.
He's a lovely bloke, hard man, tough man.
I can't imagine calling any rugby player Fifi.
You can call Keith Fifi, because I'm a namesake.
Not to the face, mate.
Keith,
yes.
Fifi.
Yeah.
Fifi, Keith Charles, Fifi,
okay,
Okay,
yeah.
I could be called Fifi.
You could, yeah.
Well, definitely. I was one of the ladies in the back street.
Exactly.
As you can imagine, not one of the tough lads like Nigel.
You did come in with a pair of high heels on, so it's a bit of a giveaway.
And the fishnets. Oh, sorry, we don't mention the fishnets, do we, Chris?
No.
No fishnets, because I've been down Edgbaston Reservoir, doing a bit of fishing, dogging. Sorry. Anyway, no fishnets. Yeah, it's not the Rocky Horror Show we're in tonight, is it? It's more like a rugby show. Well, it should be more like a rugby show. Yeah. It's not. It's more like us two just having a fight of fancy. Going back to the rugby, it should be your brain power that matters. I'll give you an example how this is so like rugby in the West Midlands. Ordinary kids can't afford to play it anymore unless you have attended a public school. England is sorry.
Pardon?
Feck.
Ah, right.
England's future FEC, future England captain, Maro Itoje, won a rugby scholarship to Harrow School, where Sir Winston Churchill went. Now, if he'd have been in North London on a council estate, or in East London in Brick Lane as a young black man growing up, how the hell would he have got to Harrow School, Chris? You tell me that. He might have been picked up by the Arsenal. It's dangerous to be picked up by the Arsenal.
Yeah.
Very painful.
I was picked up by the Arsenals.
Yes. Picked up by the Arsenal as a footballer. I gather Maro Itoje plays basketball, but also, as I say, he won a rugby scholarship to Harrow School, where Winston Churchill was educated. What a great man he was, but we won't go there now. And, Maro Itoje, as I say, has been dubbed the latest FEC, or FEC, future England captain. 17 stone of rippling muscle, Nigerian extraction. I'm not sure whether... He's also doing a politics degree, so he's not a thick kid, He's a bright kid. Harrow School, rugby scholarship, playing for Saracens, has played for Saracens for about the last 3 seasons, and he made the best, in my opinion, and I've been watching rugby a long, long time, Chris. Since about 1966 I've been watching rugby, when I first got into sport, when I went to the World Cup final with my dad.
You what, 7 or 8 then?
Not World Cup final, World Cup match at Villa Park.
Okay.
We were going to mention the Villa, but we won't.
No.
We don't want to intrude on private grief, do we? As a Villa fan.
When the show's finished, I'm going to show you something.
Oh,
which can't be
you
broadcasted.
dirty little man.
Which can't be
you
broadcasted.
rude little man. What are you going to show me? I don't want to see that.
I'll show you afterwards.
Oh, missus. Oh.
Excited now.
You got excited, have you? This is getting a bit rude, this is, mate. What are you going to show? Is it a cartoon with... Because, Lord David Bernstein and Mervyn King have resigned en bloc. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You're up with the...
As
a Blue Nose, you're up with the Villa,
yes, I mean, I get messaged all day about these things.
Do you?
Yeah.
In the hot seat here in Alton, in downtown
I'm the
Alton.
anchor man, you know what I mean?
The anchor man.
Yeah, there you go.
You got an anchor tattooed on your man, have you?
I'm a little man.
Oh, sorry. We're going there again. We shouldn't go on to this. Are we getting any feedback on
Have we got any rugby this week?
It's been a bit of an odd show.
You don't want to read that, Keith. It's about Villa.
Are they interacting about the Villa?
Yeah.
Interacting, that's a good word for a Monday night. Anyway, I'd like to go back to the rugby. I'd like to give a shout out. I now work at Birmingham University Medical School, Chris. I have done for the last year. Yep. And it's a great job because we do some fantastic cancer research, liver research, Alzheimer's research into all sorts of diseases and conditions that hopefully we'll find a cure for one day. I'd like to give a big shout out to a guy called Stuart Kirbishley, who works in the liver team on the 5th floor of the IBR, which is the Institute for Biomedical Research. Stuart Kirbishley, lovely guy, doing some fantastic research into liver disease, which, as you know, can affect people who like a drink, like you and I. Yeah. And George Best, I think, had liver disease, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Well, he was an alcoholic, but it's not just liver disease doesn't just kill alcoholics. It can strike children.
Oh, yes.
And Stuart Kirbishley's doing some great work there. Stuart's a lovely guy. As I say, I work with Stuart. Rugby fan like myself, England rugby fan. Went to Harper Adams Grammar in Newport in Shropshire. Salop. Can I say that? Salop?
Salop, yeah.
Salop?
Yeah.
Salop, I've just said it.
A couple of salaps.
Salop. Salopian. I'm a Salopian.
Oh.
It's not a Silurian, it's a Salopian. Yeah, well, anyway, go back to Stuart Kirbishley. I'd like to say a big shout out to Stuart and all the great work you're doing there, Stuart. And if you're listening, recognise us on the old what's it called? The Facebook.
Facebook.
We do it on Facebook. We do it on Facebook.
We're on Facebook. Yeah,
excellent.
You can do it on SRB Radio.
SRBRadio.com.
Sports Radio 1 Facebook. Facebook.com/Sports Radio 1.
I'll have to do that. I'll have to get on that. You'll have to sort me out with that, Chris.
Yeah.
Anyway, big shout out to Stuart Kirbishley. Also my colleague Rowan Hardy, down from the southwest, fantastic guy. lovely guy and his family. I can't remember the name of your kids, Rowan, but I'm sure they're going to be great rugby players. And sad to hear that that the Wasps beat the Exeter Chiefs. Going back to the rugby again, Wasps beat the Exeter Chiefs by 25-24 a couple of weekends ago. And there's a massive game coming up in a couple of weeks, or 2 or 3 weeks' time, when the Wasps take on the Exeter Chiefs again, but down in the Chiefs' lair, or their wigwam and their teepees and their tents and their whatever you call an Indian reservation down there in Exeter for the Chiefs. Now the Chiefs I must tell you about this, Chris. The Chiefs have a fantastic rugby chant called the Tomahawk Chop. Can you believe that?
Brilliant.
And it goes something like this. I'm going to do a rendition of the Exeter Chiefs. Yeah. Exeter Chiefs. I'll say that again. I'll put my teeth in. The Exeter Chiefs Tomahawk Chop. You try saying that after you had a few alcohol. K-lies. And it goes something like this. Chief. Exeter Chief. That's the Tomahawk Chop, or my version of it anyway. Okay. So, yeah. Well, anyway.
Fantastic. I think.
Well, I think on that note we ought to go.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we've outstayed our welcome somewhat, haven't we, Chris? Doing my version of the Tomahawk Chop, but no. The Chiefs play the Wasps. Hopefully, the Wasps will sting the Chiefs again, because as you know, I'm now reinventing myself as a Wasps fan. They won again at the weekend. They beat those Wussy boys at Six Ways at Worcester. They beat them, what was it, 56 points to 35, I think. Fantastic game. Christian Wade, great little player, the Black Billy Whiz, as they call him, like Jason Robinson, but even blacker. I don't know whether I can say that. I'm sure I just did. I didn't mean it that way, but he's a great little player, and he's a West Indian origin, whereas I think Jason Robinson was more whatever from the north. Anyway, Christian Wade's a Londoner anyway, from a West Indian stock, but he scored 6 tries on Saturday, Chris. 6 tries, which is a record for the Premiership. And it's the first time any rugby player has scored 6 tries in an Aviva Premiership game. So a big shout out to the fantastic player that is Christian Wade of the Wasps at the Ricoh Arena. So yeah, and as I say, those Wussy Warrior boys lost out to those Wasps on Saturday, and it was a great game. What a great advert for rugby, you know. Brilliant. The Wasps stuffing those Wussy boys. All right, Nick G.J. Spall just walked into the studio, and he's not going to talk about the Villa, I'm sure. He's
going to be totally confused because I'm sitting where he normally sits.
Do you want to? Anyway, don't intrude on private grief, will you, Nick D.J. Spall? No comments. Well, yes. Well,
I've just told him I'm going to show him something when the show's finished, but you mustn't divulge.
Will you what?
If you divulge.
Oh, I see. Is that?
Anyway. I'll show you in a bit.
Mrs. Oh, Mrs. Sounds like Frankie Howard's just walked in the door. That's a blast from the past, isn't it? Frankie Howard. No, Mrs. No. Beautiful.
What did my mum?
No, I was doing Ken Dodd for a minute there, I think. Oh, how tickled I am. Anyway, that's it from In the Clubhouse. I think I've outstayed my welcome long enough. So we're on a roll there, not talking much rugby, but talking not a lot of sense. Not a lot, but you'll like this. Oh, it's just settling into his chair. Listen to that music. Isn't that music? Oh, the Villa, of course. The Villa. That football team from Aston. You know, remember them? No, I don't either, actually. I'm a fan as well. No. Sad, isn't it? Mervyn King has resigned. Lord David Bernstein has resigned. And Prince William's abdicated the throne. Did you know that?
I'll just give you the latest, shall I?
Go on.
Stan Collymore wants to set up some kind of consortium and get them all out of trouble.
From in Cannock?
Yeah.
You're from Cannock?
Yeah.
Sonny Cannock?
Sonny Cannock.
Oh. Well, Collymore and Cannock. He is a bit of a Canuck, isn't he, really? And we all know what Stanley got up to at Edgbaston Reservoir, don't we?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Sorry, we shouldn't get
Good night, Keith.
He won't find
Anyway.
out who's barred me on Twitter.
Has he? Oh, well, that's a
We're going to
shame.
be barred in a bit. You know?
Well, we'll go to the bar anyway. Anyway, thank you for listening to that Fighter Fancy that was in the clubhouse. We talked a bit of rugby, we talked a lot of rubbish, and we talked a lot of sense. So good night from Chris,
Good night.
and good night from Keith. Good night. Good night, John Boy. Good night, Nick DJ Spore.
Good night, Keith.
And it's Keith Bracey in the clubhouse signing off with nothing more to say.